How do you feel about Kamala Harris supporters being corralling their voters? Kind of like this. This is kind of sheep-like, isn't it? What would Donald Trump have to do for you to withhold your vote from him?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
So he could literally put Japanese Americans in prison like FDR did and you'd be fine? You'd still vote for him?
Yes.
Voting is simply an act of picking the lesser of two evils.
So you're choosing the lesser evil?
Have to. There's no other choice.
Sometimes you got to dance with the devil you know, not the one you don't.
Where's the American spirit, though? I'm the only one against all you guys out here. You guys are literally going, I'm going to this dance, and I'm going to dance with the devil. I'm going to put my arms around him, and he's getting my vote. How do you justify that? But you're going to vote for a guy who's not only going against the Constitution and that, he's working with the Zionist international banking cartel to devalue our dollar. Donald Trump said Congress should be controlled by Israel.
He says a lot of bullshit stuff.
What? But that's treasonous. Do you realize if Patrick Henry heard him saying that, he'd be buying a rope?
Probably.
But you're going to vote for him. Patrick Henry would be buying a rope and loading his musket, and you're going to vote for the guy who wants Israel to control Congress.
Probably. I guess I am.
The biggest threat to this country are ignorant people who think they're informed. And besides that, even if you got informed on policy, how do you know you're going to be able to trust the political psychopath who's making the promises? The answer is you can't. And historically, you should be able to say, hey, I can't trust Trump. I don't know him. I have family members that I know that I don't trust. Why would I trust Trump? Why would I trust Kamala Harris? So we're going to get out here and we're going to talk to some supporters of Donald J. Trump and see why they're actually voting for him. Ma'am, could you tell me why you're voting for Donald Trump?
Because he's awesome.
What makes him awesome? Here, you can take it. Go ahead, walk with me. I'll walk with you. Go ahead.
Because he's awesome president and he's going to get us back on track.
Okay, how will he do that?
Closing the borders.
All right.
Why do you like Donald Trump?
Come on, take the mic.
I love Donald Trump.
Okay, why do you love him?
He's for us.
Okay.
He's not for anybody else. He's for us.
All right.
And he'll fight for our country.
How is he going to fight for our country?
Bring back the country that we used to have.
Okay.
You know, things were expensive. You know, now, when he was in office, things weren't. Gas prices, groceries, everything's pretty much tripled in prices.
Okay.
We want him back to bring back the old U.S.
Okay, let me ask you some hard questions. Are you for the Second Amendment? Are you for the Second Amendment?
Yes.
It's the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Yeah.
I am too, because it says shall not be infringed. So because I'm for the Second Amendment, I'm against anybody who's violating the Second Amendment, like Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, you look familiar. Do you have a YouTube channel? No? Kamala Harris is for red flag gun confiscation laws. That's all I would need to know about Kamala Harris to know that she's not getting my vote because she wants to take my guns. Right. She wants to ban assault weapons, whatever that is. But don't you have a problem with Donald Trump who wants to also institute red flag laws?
Well, because he's not going to take
He's not going to, right.
But he instituted red flag laws, and a veteran died because of it in the first red flag law confiscation in Maryland.
Not sure about that.
It was in 2019 after the Las Vegas shooting. You can YouTube it right now. Trump initiates red flag laws.
Okay.
So why would you be for somebody who's anti-Second Amendment? I'm really trying to understand. I hate Kamala Harris. She's out to lunch. Joe Biden should be in prison. But anybody who wants to touch my Second Amendment, I am vehemently against.
Agreed.
So why wouldn't you be for Donald Trump? Do you remember the bump stock bans?
No.
He initiated bump stock bans, which unilaterally criminalized 1 million Americans who held a piece of plastic. Has everything to do with the Second Amendment. Why wouldn't you be against Donald Trump for that?
I don't know.
And were you for Operation Warp Speed?
Operation Warp Speed.
That's the Pfizer Moderna shot, the COVID thing. Were you for that?
No.
Because he calls himself the father. He's literally calling himself the father of vaccines, and he's still pushing the vaccine as a miracle from God.
Yeah, right.
And what?
I don't think so.
You don't think he's doing that?
No.
Oh. What are we saying here?
I think I misunderstood your question.
Okay, Donald Trump is pushing the vaccine still to this day. He calls himself the father of the vaccine. Why would he get your vote in light of that?
I don't agree with that, but I don't agree with everything he does. I don't either.
What would Donald Trump have to do for you to withhold your vote from him?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
So he could literally put Japanese Americans in prison like FDR did and you'd be fine? You'd still vote for him?
Yes.
You would still vote?
No, I wouldn't.
You were kidding with me, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. What would Kamala Harris have to do to get your vote?
She wouldn't.
She wouldn't?
No.
What if she started being pro-Second Amendment and started doing all the right things?
It's too late.
Okay, are you voting for Donald Trump, sir? Why are you voting for Donald Trump?
Because he supports my beliefs, and I believe he truly cares about the future of our country.
What could Donald Trump do to not get your vote? Could he do anything?
Not at this point. Anything that happens between now and election time is not to be trusted. It's all just last-minute spin, trying to move the wishy-washy people's votes.
Well, just to let you know where I'm at, I believe Kamala Harris is evil. Joe Biden is evil. They should be tried for treason, and they should be hanged.
I'm with you.
According to the founding fathers.
Fauci in there too.
Yeah, but so here's my question. I'm going to ask you a hard question about Donald Trump. I'm against Donald Trump for the same reason I'm against Kamala Harris. And one of those reasons is red flag gun confiscation laws, which both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump support. Civil asset forfeiture, you know what that is, right?
Yes.
Where they could confiscate they could just say they suspect you of drugs. Yeah. Both of them are for that. So why wouldn't you be against Donald Trump when he is against the Second Amendment?
Well, voting is simply an act of picking the lesser of two evils.
So you're choosing the lesser evil?
Have to. There's no other choice.
So you're saying that you have to choose evil. You can't withdraw your consent from evil.
You're getting a little deep. I don't know.
Well, I'm not getting deep. I'm just saying what you just said. You just basically said you're going to vote for evil because you feel like you have to.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Nobody's perfect.
I didn't abandon you, man. We had technical difficulties. Say what you're saying. Sorry to cut in on
I don't even remember what we were saying.
Are you done?
I'm a pure blood. Nobody forced me to get the vaccine.
But he forced you to pay for it. You're paying for it right now through higher taxes and a devalued dollar.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Donald Trump forced you to pay for a vaccine that's killing people, and he wants.
Donald Trump didn't force me to do it.
Did you see the signature? $6.2 trillion. I don't know, Mitch. I don't know if I can sign anything with a T on it. That's what he said. Gave the second pen to Steve Mnuchin, who's a Goldman Sachs banker.
So, I'm done. Okay.
Okay. All right. Just to let you know, you guys are voting for the swamp.
You made your point.
You're voting for the You're voting for the father of the vax.
We all know
Just so we're clear. Just so we're on record. It's easier to deceive the masses than to convince them that they've been deceived. But I have a sense, just from talking to people, that they know they're being deceived. They know they're voting for a liar. They know they're voting for a deceiver and a conniver, and yet they're still going to do it. And they even say that he's the lesser of two evils, but they're still going to vote for evil. That's what's going on here at the Trump rally. Stay tuned. We're going to have more coming up.
There's nobody else to vote for it.
Well, I mean, there's Kamala Harris, but why him over Kamala Harris?
His policies are better.
Because of policies?
Absolutely.
What are some that you're specifically? I'm not holding you to, like, just generally speaking, what policies?
Oil independence, Second Amendment.
Can I push back on the Second Amendment a little bit? Because I'm a total Second Amendment guy. I don't think anybody should be taking our guns. And I think we should overturn the 1934 automatic weapons ban, because I think whatever the government has, people should have. Kamala Harris, the reason I hate her guts is for one reason only. She's for red flag laws, and she's for assault weapons bans, which what is an assault weapon? It's ridiculous and completely mysterious to most Democrats. But I'm against her for the same reason I'm against Donald Trump. He initiated the first federal red flag gun confiscation law. Do you know that?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so that's antithetical to shall not be infringed.
Probably saw it, but it didn't strike me.
So I'm trying to understand, because there's this thing called cognitive dissonance where people are trying to hold two mutually exclusive ideas at the same time. In other words, people say, I'm for the Second Amendment, but I'm also for Donald Trump, who's clearly against the Second Amendment. How does that square?
Well, sometimes you've got to dance with the devil you know, not the one you don't. And
That's the second time I heard that today.
you know Trump. He's not perfect by any means, but he is the best we've got right now.
Well, do you feel like he drained the swamp in 2016?
No, absolutely not.
Do you feel like he filled it?
I'm not going to say he filled it.
Well, he did. It got swampier. Steve Mnuchin from Goldman Sachs, Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, Alex Azar.
It did, but like I said, you've got to deal with who you've got in there. I mean, who else are you going to put in?
Well, you just said you got to dance with the devil. What if you don't want to dance? What if your other choice is I don't want to dance? And what if we all stop dancing? What if we all stop dancing? They stopped dancing at the revolution. You know what happened? We got America away from Britain.
And we did, but you've still got right now. There's so many people that will go the other way on you.
Where's the American spirit, though? I'm the only one against all you guys out here. You guys are literally going, I'm going to this dance, and I'm going to dance with the devil. I'm going to put my arms around him, and he's getting my vote. How do you justify that?
Because he's the one that's going to do the most for me personally right now.
But he instituted Operation Warp Speed, $6.2 trillion to the Federal Reserve.
Who's going to change it? Nobody. You got to deal with who you've got in place.
Who's going to change it? The people who are willing to roll up their sleeves and go, you know what? I'm an American, and I'll be damned if somebody's going to take my country away. It's not going to be Trump, and it's not going to be Kamala. We need to get rid of the Federal Reserve.
Probably, but you can't. You can't do it all at once. Like January 6th, I'm not too upset about it.
I'm not either.
But
that wasn't an insurrection. You don't do an insurrection without guns.
You're correct. But
yeah, the Democrats are out to lunch on that.
You couldn't amass enough people to pull it off. It's got to get really, really bad.
You know why we can't amass enough people to pull it off? Because they have the mentality of you. It's like, no, you got to dance with the devil. So as long as we have the dance with the devil mentality, we're doomed, man. We're done.
Probably.
Who's going to be in control when Donald Trump gets in or if Kamala Harris gets in? Who's going to control the monetary supply? The Federal Reserve. They're the ones who control. They're the puppet masters.
What do we do? Go back to the gold standard?
Absolutely. Or create an alternative currency option and a free market that doesn't have anything to do with the government, like Ross Ulbricht tried to do.
You'll never get people to do it.
You know why? Because they got. But we could if you.
In their own cocoon, man.
I know, but you're in your cocoon. The cocoon they're in is yours.
I am in a cocoon.
Do you know that quote? It's easier to deceive the masses than to convince them that they've been deceived.
It is, man.
So you're actually admitting that you're deceived, that you're dancing with the devil, and this is the only option we got. Let me ask you a serious question. If Hitler were running against Stalin, who would you vote for?
I'm not going to answer that. I can't.
You wouldn't vote for either because they're both evil. This is the same scenario.
I don't think Trump is. I think he is sincere. He is making. He may not drain the swamp, but he's the best thing we've got right now.
How can he be sincere when he just said 3 weeks ago that he believes Congress should be controlled by Israel? Donald Trump said Congress should be controlled by Israel.
He says a lot of bullshit stuff.
What? But that's treasonous. Do you realize if Patrick Henry heard him saying that, he'd be buying a rope?
Probably.
But you're going to vote for him. Patrick Henry would be buying a rope and loading his musket, and you're going to vote for the guy who wants Israel to control Congress.
Probably. I guess I am.
Damn, man. I'm so discouraged and disheartened because it's just. Wow, the road that leads to salvation is very narrow, and few there be that find it, huh? Yep. How do you feel about Kamala Harris supporters being corralling their voters? Kind of like this. This is kind of sheep-like, isn't it?
I remember when my dad was young. He was an altar boy, this, that, the other. And the Jehovah's Witnesses used to come up on the steps and talk with him.
Yeah.
And he'd talk with them all day to keep them away from everybody else. That's kind of what I'm doing to you now.
Oh, he's trying to keep me away from he's trying to keep the truth. The guy who wants to dance with the devil is trying to keep me away from everybody else who wants to dance with the devil. Very clever. Wow. You know, you just showed who. Oh, I'm sorry. You just showed your. Sorry, man. Sorry, ma'am. You just showed your character, man. You just showed your character. Appreciate you doing that. Yeah, thanks for being honest. You look like a rational dude. Can you tell the world why you're voting for Donald Trump? We'll walk with you.
Well, because he's anti-establishment, man. That's why. I mean, you know, he's tired of the corruption, just like everybody else here is. I mean, that's the main reason. Because if the media don't like him, the government don't like him, and I don't like either one of those, that's it. That's all I need to know.
Can I push back a little bit against that? I mean, when I do this to Kamala Harris supporters, they shut me down. I don't want to stop for these people. How is he anti-establishment when he puts like Steve Mnuchin as the Treasury Secretary when he's a lifelong Goldman Sachs globalist?
Well, one of the things that I looked at, back in 2016 when he was running, he was talking about, the system is rigged, and the reason it is because he uses it. I mean, that's one of the things that he told us, that the system is rigged, which just verifies what I believed in. Now, is he perfect? No. Like, as far as, putting those guys into places, I don't necessarily agree with everything that he does and everything that he says, but as far as his policies, like, he loves Americans, man.
Isn't the person in the Treasury Secretary job kind of less than minor? Isn't it a little major? And we're not talking about perfection. We're talking about, this is a major thing. He's going to work with the Federal Reserve to devalue our currency.
Well, for one thing, I don't like our currency the way it is. We need to go back to the gold back.
Amen.
Like,
that's what I've been saying all day.
Yeah, that's
why do you say that, sir?
Because if they keep printing money, guess what? Inflation is going to get out of control. And the thing about it is, back in the day,
we have a voice of reason.
I mean, you take a $5 gold coin back in the day, it'd buy you a nice suit. Well, guess what? $5 now ain't going to buy you a nice suit. But you know what will? That $5 gold coin. It will still buy you a nice suit. So.
And a gold standard restrains the international bankers. We can't have wars with a gold standard. We can't have giving immigrants freebies and hotel rooms and free Obama phones and all that stuff without this monetary easing or quantitative easing that they have.
Absolutely. And the government spending's out of control, man. I don't like the system, and hopefully he goes in there and flips it on its head this go around, because I know he had a lot of pushback last time, and like I said, he's not perfect, but he's definitely my guy, though.
I will be the first to tell you that he is vilified. Donald Trump is vilified by what I call fake stream, CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media. That's what I call him. But at the same time, I'm against Kamala Harris for major things. One of the major things is I'm a Second Amendment guy. I'm pro shall not be infringed. And I mean, if the government can have it, Americans should have it. Exactly.
Hey, I want a tank too, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell you right
now. That was the mentality of the founding fathers. If the British can have it, we're going to have it.
Absolutely. And it's not there to, to tell us, hey, you can have this gun or that gun. It's pretty much to keep the government in check, man. And that's where I think the institutions, as far as the schools, I teach my kids this, but the Constitution is there for a reason. It isn't something that can be changed like, nowadays it doesn't apply to ARs, it doesn't apply to this. No, it's there for good. And that's...
Well, tell me, sir, why do you need an AR-15?
Because I want it.
Yeah, it's none of my freaking business. That's why.
I want it. That's it.
So I'm against Kamala Harris because she wants to do the assault weapons ban, whatever an assault weapons is. She wants to do the red flag gun confiscation laws. But then Trump did the bump stock ban, which effectively criminalized 1 million Americans who had a piece of plastic that they put on their firearms. He also instituted red flag gun confiscation laws in 2019. Why wouldn't you be against him for that?
Oh, I don't agree with him on that. Like, if I want a bump stop, I should be able to get a bump stop. That's it. Like I said, I don't agree with him on everything, but he is my guy, though, because I can find a common ground, and where his core principles are is where I'm at.
But you realize that you're saying your guy is an anti-Second Amendment guy. He sat next to Diane. Remember when he said after the Las Vegas shooting, he sat next to, I call her Diane Frankenstein. It's Diane Feinstein, because she's a gun grabber. She's like, oh, I want to take your guns. He sat next to her and said, I don't know, Mike, I like take the guns first, due process second. Didn't that make you cringe?
Yeah. Anything. It don't matter who it is. Him, anybody, go against the Constitution. I don't like it.
But you're gonna vote for a guy who's not only going against the Constitution and that, he's working with the Zionist international banking cartel to devalue our dollar. Orwell said in his book 1984, it's easier to deceive the masses than to convince them that they've been deceived. A lot of people are convinced that, hey, I've only got two choices, Kamala or Donald, and if I don't vote for one of them, then the other one's gonna get in. But I'm making the case that both of them are evil, and how can you vote for somebody went against the Second Amendment, went against the Fourth Amendment, and trashed the dollar?
Yeah, I don't think Donald Trump is evil. I think he may get ill-advised. I will agree with that, and there are some things that I don't agree with, but deep down, I think he is a good guy.
What could Donald Trump do to actually cause you, as an American, to withhold your vote then if those didn't do it?
I mean, I can't really say, you know what I mean? Like, because I can do hypotheticals all day, like my sister, I can say, I won't talk to her no more if she kicks me in my shin. I mean...
You know what it would take? I can answer that.
What is that?
Threaten to take Americans' guns away.
Oh yeah.
That's all it would take. And he's doing that, and he did it with red flag laws.
Yeah, I have to look at that. If I'm not informed on something, I can't really say. You know what I mean?
But if you got informed and you found out, hey, he's infringing on the Second Amendment, would you vote for him?
That's with anybody. Oh yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with him. Like anybody that goes against the Constitution, I'm not with them.
Can you see how I'm kind of seeing this is like the cult of personality? It's like they'd rather vote for him and deny the facts than admit they're wrong and go, you know what? I probably shouldn't vote for this guy.
I mean, I can see that, but I'm definitely going to vote for him, though.
I know. I could see that. Hey, thanks for staying with me, because most Democrats have already tucked tail and run in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I have my opinion, and I mean, it's that nobody's really going to change my opinion, but I respect everybody.
And you seem like a real easygoing guy. Is he easygoing? Is he always like this? Hey, he's got a real calm spirit and everything. You could just grind somebody to pieces, but you don't. You're a big guy. It's like I've got restraint here. You're lucky I do, he says. I appreciate it, man. Thanks.